Wise World, and that was lovely. Thank you so much. Hit our hearts. Annyeonghaseyo. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be able to speak first, and also a tragedy, but that's okay. And I'll kick it off from now. But thank you very much for having me here. So, cool. So let me start. So teaspoons of change is a concept. It's a vocabulary. Okay, it's small but significant choices, decisions, and actions that have a positive impact on people and the planet. Okay, the reason teaspoons of change exists is to make us feel like that our actions do matter and that we do fit into a bigger, wider world. So let me start here. Well, what is a global citizen? We hear this word, global citizen this, global citizen that, but what does it actually mean? So please, in a moment, raise your hand if your answer to this question is yes. Are you a global citizen? Okay, cool, yeah, okay. Most people aren't. But this question is very important because to have a definition for global citizen is it has to be personal. Okay, we can't say, well, global citizen is over there. It's like, what does it mean to you? What does that look like for you to be an active and effective global citizen? And that's a never-ending question with never-ending answers. And there isn't a right answer or a wrong answer. It's what does it mean to you? This is what it means to me, is that if we do small actions that have a positive impact, teaspoons of change, that helps us think and act as a global citizen, which help contribute to those UN Sustainable Development Goals. Kalas. That's it, okay? It doesn't get any easier or harder than that. Okay, our small actions do connect to a collective context like the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And then if you do this in reverse, if you want to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, gender equality, reduce inequalities, life below water, whatever it is, we need to think as global citizens and act personally and practically with our teaspoons of change. Okay, so that's the concept, and it's free for everyone to use. So my name is dAarcy Lunn, with a strange spelling. That's my mother's fault. It's very hard for immigration, but that's okay. I come from Australia once upon a time ago, but I've been very lucky to work with many audiences in the world. I've been to more than 90 countries in the last 19 years, given over 1,000 presentations and workshops to more than 100,000 people. And for me, this has been the way that I try and connect my small things that I can do and share it with everyone in the world, okay? Now, I can only do my little slice of life, but what I do, I think matters. And I think what each of us do can and will have a big impact in the world. So under the themes of peace, sustainability, and inclusion, Teaspoons of Change, it fits into all of them, okay? It's a contextualization tool. So when you hear from our wonderful speakers today, each one of these are beautiful examples of teaspoons of change. This is how we change the world, is in small bits and all of us working together. So teaspoons of change is the entry point. It's the way to welcome people into this big scary thing of trying to make the world a bigger place. Okay, it's friendly, it's simple, and then we need all of these people to say, okay, well, what can I do? You know, go and connect with our friends in Morocco, our friends in Yemen and Syria and these places, okay? If we believe our actions matter, we can then connect with people in this room to make the world a better place. And I also use this model of help versus harm, okay? So what is the help that I could do that goes into the world in my own personal choices, and what's my harm, okay? A lot of us fly on aeroplanes to get here. We put some pollution in the air, so that's a bit harm heavy. So how do we make sure that we're doing more help and less harm? And it's a good way for us to try and look at the world in that way. And what we're trying to do is to flip that balance, okay? Instead of being harm heavy, how do we become help heavy and harm light? How do we maximize our help and minimize our harm as much as possible? Yep, and it's not a guilt trip or a moral bashing. It's just knowing that our actions do matter, and when we put them together, we can create big change. I was very fortunate also to have done a master's in peace studies in Japan, and I looked at what are the small things that we can do that help create a culture of positive peace. And this city of Pyeongchang is a wonderful example for us to come together and put our little bits of peace together to create a wonderful culture of positive peace over the next 3 days. My research looked at personal peace, what can I do as an individual, and then what does that look like in a collective context? Working in Liberia, Jordan, and many other places to try and put some ideas together and see where we go. Don't worry about reading any of that. But really it comes back to this, is, well, what can I do? I'm just one person. What on earth can I do in my personal daily life? And so the thing for me is just to know that whatever we do, it does connect to the bigger, wider world, okay? That's how we fit into those UN Sustainable Development Goals, is bring them into our daily life and try and make a difference. So I hope you can connect with those Sustainable Development Goals, make them personal, make them practical, and that's how we have a massive impact. Get some ideas from Teaspoons of Change. And then my last challenge to you is, well, what are your teaspoons of change? What are we going to do, having learned from our wonderful guests today and everyone who's here in every conversation? Let's take that outside of this humid dome and put it out into the world. And remember this formula, is that any action, even small actions, multiplied by lots of people, can and will create big change. I can't achieve the UN Sustainable Goals by myself, and neither can you, but together, that's how we hope that we can do it, is by that simple formula. So hopefully you come away. Please share this as a vocabulary, as a concept. Please utilise it as much as you like, and I wish you well. Thank you very much for having me. Cheers.